if you were a soccer player, what song would you like to have as your like walkout song onto the field?
I think I've thought about this a million times.
Grayson Repp, thank you for being here on Much today. How's it going?
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is like a full circle moment for me. Obviously, being a Canadian dude, watching MuchMusic my entire childhood and up until now, this is again a full circle moment. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Today we're chatting with you about the FIFA World Cup Sonic ID project. So first and foremost, congrats on that. You've been the producer chosen for Vancouver. So for those who don't know, basically we're producers in each host city have been chosen to remix the FIFA World Cup theme. And we just played it actually before we hopped on the call in the studio and we were all jamming out to it. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's I tried to do something a little bit differently than everybody else. I think just from my DJ background, I've been doing that and producing music for the last few years. I think I wanted to make like a dance record, like a proper dance record. I find I've done some previous work with FIFA. I DJ'd at the World Cup in 2022, and like my whole shtick was playing it like it was a nightclub. So I really wanted this ID to be specific to good time, good vibe. The tournament's in the summer. Vancouver's a wonderful city in the summer to like everyone likes to go and dance. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a dance track because I want people to move in the stadium. I want them to like, out of their chair because I find with most corporate Sonic IDs, etc., that they're very like epic and cinematic, but they don't have like a four to the floor beat that you can actually move to.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I tried to do differently with this one. So I hope people like it. And when the games come next year, I think people will be dancing.
And I think you even saying that really confirms it. It hit the nail on the head because when we were listening to it right away, we're like, this is kind of more dance, almost EDM vibes, and I really like it. Yeah, for the summer, getting people up and moving. So yeah, how did this all come about? I mean, you said you had previously DJ'd and you were the music director as well for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar.
Yeah. So this idea came last July. They said, hey, listen, we're doing an album. It's going to be a remix album of our main theme for the 2026 World Cup. And they're like, yeah, we know you're from Vancouver, and we'd love for you to represent Vancouver because we're going to do, like I said, they're going to do a producer from each city. Then I filled out like a document, like a brief, kind of like a vibe check for Vancouver, like what my opinion was for the sights and the sounds of the city. Obviously, we included the Indigenous people as well because we're like, listen, we want to go from the full history of Vancouver, like generations and generations up until now. So yeah, I essentially filled out the document and the city approved it. And then they're like, okay, you can get started. So I started the remix early September.
Wow.
I got in a studio with the Indigenous communities in the end of November in Vancouver, and then we recorded their instruments live.
Awesome.
Back into my studio, and then I just put it all together, and now we have the final product. So it's been a 6-month journey to get it done. Really, really exciting. A lot of moving pieces, obviously. FIFA proper in Zurich, FIFA Canada, City of Vancouver. It was an amazing collaborative process.
Yeah.
I hope that it's a catalyst for more artists working with Indigenous artists.
Coming off of that, what was that like to actually get to work in person together?
Yeah, it was incredible because I've never worked with them before. And so, they came in and they were wearing their traditional dress. They had all their ceremonial clothing on. They brought their instruments that are all handmade.
Wow.
And hear these instruments live rather than on a recording, like it gives you like a positive chill down your spine.
Yeah.
At the end of the session, because the plan was just to record instruments, I said, hey, I would absolutely love for you guys to record one of your welcome songs, like, you're chanting, because that would make our remix stand out amongst the rest because, FIFA has their Sonic ID with their vocal parts. And I'm like, if we add this will make it so much more incredible. And they did. And the entire studio, when they were singing it live, everybody in there, there's about 15 of us, like it was just dead silent and like goosebumps, like hair standing on the back of your neck.
I can only imagine.
Craziest live experience. And yeah, so I had to include it, and that's the beginning of the song. And it's actually Slaywa Toot's welcome song. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is perfect because now it's like the welcome to the remix. It's a welcome to Vancouver.
Yes.
And like I said, I mean, I hope I get to collaborate with them again in any capacity because it was just such a, amazing moment. I'll cherish it forever.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that makes it all the more special. And do you think even just in general, was this challenge intimidating at all, or was there a pressure to represent Vancouver like the right way?
Which of course. I mean, it's funny because when you make a song and you put it out into the world, like only you've been listening to it for so long. Thankfully, there was a lot of others involved that had to like vet it as well. And as soon as FIFA gave me the okay, I'm like, okay, that's good. And when the city said, yeah, we're loving this, I mean, that for me was the best moment just because you never know things like this. And I mean, I guess time will tell. Thus far, we've had all positive comments, which is amazing to hear as a producer. And I hope, because I didn't know, like I said, making a remix that's completely different than the rest. You just kind of don't have an idea of what's going to happen. But I'm a big believer in like taking risks like that. And I think that's what people need to do as musicians is take risks. So I hope people like it. I appreciate you guys dancing along to it earlier. I hope that theme continues, and I hope that in the stadium next year that it sounds good as well. And Vancouver feels like it's been represented properly.
How do you encapsulate the sound of Vancouver? What did that sound like to you maybe in the process before even starting?
I thought, okay, West Coast is very organic. Have a lot of Foley sounds, like samples, like, there's rain falling, there's waves crashing, there's hawks calling. Like there's a lot of amazing things that I could have used. So I spent a lot of time sampling and making sure that there's included sounds of like the flora and fauna of the Vancouver area. For example, the beginning, there's like a rain falling with the welcome chant happening. And then it goes into like the synth sound that I created because I was like, oh, I wonder how I can make a wave crashing without the actual wave crashing sound, but with like a synth and instrument. And then I thought, okay, like this instrument works really cool. It could also be like a soccer ball rolling. Like that rolling sound at the beginning and in the breakdown. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And then other than that, I was like, okay, I'm going to use like beautiful strings, a piano. West Coast again has like this very organic sound, and yeah, and then I included like the rain falling, so I felt like I covered all the bases.
As a DJ, what do you feel like are kind of the best anthem-like songs to hype you up, and for sports specifically? Yeah,
that's a really good question. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with like Avicii Levels.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's made like a big. I know it might be cliche to say,
no.
But I mean, I love him and I've been super inspired by him since like that's why I got into DJing in 2010. Honestly, any songs that'll get people to move, like emotionally. Like I feel like there's the best songs are the ones that take you on this emotional journey. Like they kind of pull you in, they pull you out. It's kind of like life, right?
Absolutely.
I would say definitely Levels by Avicii. I am a massive Drake fan, been my entire life, his entire career. So I play a lot of Drake live, headlines, Drake. I'm an open format DJ, so I play every genre. So depending on the genre, I know Calm Down, Rima and Selena Gomez was a big one at the 2022 World Cup. That's more Afrobeat, reggaeton. And other than that, like I'll play a bunch of my own edits that are like house music, because that seems to be the big trend right now happening in North America.
And if you were a soccer player, what song would you like to have as your like walkout song onto the field?
I think I've thought about this a million times. Would it have to be like Started from the Bottom or something? I'm a terrible soccer player.
Oh, that's
just, maybe I shouldn't have said that online, but
that's a perfect song.
I get invited out to play football and people are like, oh, like, maybe this guy's not that great, works for FIFA. What's that all about? Yeah, I think that and I just from playing the walkout songs at the 2022 World Cup, that was in the back of my mind when I created this track as well, and this track will be used for that in Vancouver. So it'd be pretty cool to hear my own backing track. Get down on the pitch, because you never know how things sound, because they sound differently in the stands as they would to being on the pitch. So I hope that the players enjoy it at the next World Cup, especially Team Canada. So
and just in general, are there any other artists or producers that you're currently vibing right now? DJs, anyone?
Yeah, I love Dom Dolla. Dom Dolla just did like a huge show in New York at Madison Square Garden, and my whole team watched that and we're like, okay, this is like what we want to do and this is where we want to be. There's a lot of amazing artists in Berlin, usually quiet. He's great. It's like more of a progressive trance kind of stuff. I'm a big sucker for Bad Bunny.
Oh,
he's so
incredible. Peso Pluma.
You know your stuff. I love it.
I mean, I have to. I don't have a choice. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long, long time, and like I've been lucky enough that FIFA has entrusted me to be their head curator of music. And I learned so much like at the World Cup, because obviously I had to pick songs for 32 countries, right? So I couldn't just be like, oh, the US, Canada, that's what I was previously used to because that's where I'm from, and then I got to like work with all the African nations and all their teams, and I got to like totally expand my horizons. And then obviously living abroad, like I've lived in the US and living in Europe, like I've been, been pushed into these other scenes where like a totally different kind of music is popular. So you have to learn whether it be like Deutsch rap, reggaeton, or Afrobeat, very big in Europe, and then you obviously have like the classics like Drake, etc. in North America. So I've been able to cover all the bases, and it's really exciting. And I think that's what makes my DJ sets a little bit different than everybody else. I just have all this worldly experience yet, so I try to include all of it in one cohesive mix. Easier said than done.
Totally. And you have a new song out called Heart and Soul. Is there something currently in your life? It could be your music, but it could be anything else too that you've been putting your heart and soul in, maybe a workout routine.
Yeah, absolutely, a workout routine. I actually used to swim professionally, and I swam on Team Canada
No
in
way.
my late teens and early 20s. Yeah. So, but right now, yeah, I mean, I exercise every day. I love the sauna. To be completely honest, Heart and Soul is a perfectly fitting name and perfectly fitting vocal for this record because I released music. I released my first songs 3 years ago, and then after that, I'm kind of like, oh my God, I'm a musician now. Like now I have to. It's serious now. You
Yeah.
know, totally
Yeah.
changed. It totally changed my identity. And then I admittedly struggled for 3 years trying to figure out what I'm going to do next and how I really want to sound and how I want like people to see me as and like what kind of legacy and difference I can make in the scene. And it literally took my entire heart and soul to get this song out, pushed across the finish line. Thankfully, I have an amazing team around me that empower me every single day, including my wife, Sophia. She's amazing. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, everything that I do, I try to put my heart and soul into literally everything I do. Whether that's a good thing or not, I haven't found out yet.
No, it's a good
But I
thing.
just try my best. Like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to be all in on it. I'm going to be all in on every
Absolutely.
single thing I try to do, right? So, I think that's a testament to where I'm at in my career and being able to work with FIFA. It's pretty cool as a Canadian dude to have that opportunity. I'm going to continue putting my heart and soul into everything that I do.
It's a fitting title. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. And for those just discovering you now or just finding out your music for the first time, before we sign off, is there anything you'd like to say?
I just want to say go Canada. Honestly, it's really exciting. I think the last World Cup, it was really cool that we were back after a long break. And yeah, it's just so exciting to be home and make the song for my city and our city. And again, being able to work with the Indigenous community is something I will cherish forever. And it's just so cool to talk to you guys. It's just such a full circle moment for me. And I really, really appreciate it. And again, I'm going to I told my parents and they're like, "Oh my God, like
Oh,
it's
that's
the
so
craziest thing." So it's very, very exciting for me, and I hope we get to keep in touch. And
absolutely.
I hope our guys go all the way at the next
Yeah.
tournament because that's it's at home.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Grayson. Congrats on everything you're doing. You're crushing it. Thank you for chatting with us today. And yeah, hope to chat with you again soon.
Absolutely. Have a lovely day.
Dude,
And
thank
yeah, we'll
you.
chat soon.